Hello, assalamu alaikum. So this is not necessarily a question that students ask, but this is something that I'm sure pops into people's heads, so it's worth attempting to answer it. Is Arabic hard? Well, is Arabic hard? If in one sense nothing is hard, you can take the most complex thing that you can imagine, like rocket science, quantum mechanics, particle physics. It can all be easy if you break it down into its small enough chunks and then teach it to you over a long enough period of time. So is Arabic hard? Well, if I taught you one word at a time and we had an infinite amount of time, then it's really easy. um, Equally, if you want to teach operational Arabic and you want to squeeze it into into a few weeks, then it will be very hard, because hard is not just are you able to get it, but it's also am I giving you enough time to process it, and then given the time that you've had to process it, are you able to grasp those concepts, and are you able to then use them to operationalize them. So we need to just be clear about what hard means. My definition of it is, if you ask me, is Arabic hard? I would say, no, it's not hard. It's not hard, but there's a few key things you need. You need to have someone who's experienced to help you on that journey, to really remove all those obstacles that you can become so disabling for someone who's first learning Arabic. I was very fortunate. I had a very experienced teacher that really held my hand and kind of carried me on that journey, and I'm really grateful for that. I also had great classmates, and that's the other thing that you need. You need to have a good a group of peers around you who are going to support you when times feel a bit tough, and when you hit that wall and you feel like you can't climb over it. So you will inevitably, anything that requires effort means that eventually you hit that wall and you think, I can't climb over it, and you need someone who's going to grab you by the hand and force you over it. So if you have a good network, if you have a good teacher, and if you are disciplined, that's very, very important, because regardless of how easy or how difficult something is, if you're not going to put the time into it, you're not going to achieve it. It's just as simple as that. So is Arabic hard? No, it's not hard, providing you meet that criteria. But does that mean Arabic is easy? um, I would say be very careful about people who make Arabic out to be really easy, as if it's just child's play and it's learning, like learning the alphabet. It's not. um, it often, and I don't want to start, I'm not going to name drop organizations or courses here, but it's very easy for me to pluck out 50 words and say, here you go, learn these 50 words, or I will teach you these 50 words and you'll connect to the Quran. That's easy to do. The reality is, you're not learning Arabic by doing that. When we say learning Arabic, what we mean is people who want to engage with the Arabic language, to be able to operationally use it, which means to be able to read it and understand it, hear it and understand it, um, and to do so in a way, and those people are not necessarily immersed in the language. Now, if you're immersed in the language, meaning you're hearing it everywhere, then it's just learn a bit of vocabulary and find a chance to use it, and you very quickly you'll pick up Arabic. It might not be the most, it might not be the most poetic of Arabic, but nonetheless, it will be functional Arabic. If you're not immersed in the language, which I guess most of you won't be, then learning vocabulary is not enough. Uh, a pop-up course on connecting to the Quran over 7 days is probably not going to be enough. Anything that you absorb quickly will probably you lose very quickly if you're not immersed in it. So really think about what Arabic means. It means to be able to be functional, to be able to be operational on your own, which means you have to have grammar, you have to know how to form verbs and manipulate verbs to be able to turn a question into a statement and so on. That requires experience, that requires that investment in time by you and by your teacher. You need to have a system that's tried and tested, meaning you don't want to be the pilot. You want to make sure that it's a fairly recognized system or group of people that have been teaching for some time. So Arabic is not easy in the sense that it's not something you can just pick up like learning the alphabet. It takes effort, it takes discipline, but it's not hard. If you do it right, and if you have the right people holding your hand through it, then there's absolutely no reason why you can't learn Arabic. Even if you don't know a single letter of Arabic right now, there is nothing stopping you from, in a year's time, being able to hear Arabic and understand it, and maybe even speak some basic Arabic, as long as you kind of stay disciplined. You start from the beginning. You don't be Don't allow the noise around you to distract you from just getting on and learning those first letters in Arabic and building up from there, inshallah. So Arabic is not hard, but equally it's not as easy as people like to make out to sometimes just to sell their course. So I hope that answers the question. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.